his cakes were like pure authentic chocolate cakes, like which you don't get outside. Like outside there is so much, it's loaded with so much icing. It's not bearable to eat that much icing. It's too much sugar, too sweet.
For sure.
Like, you take one bite of it and then you throw away the rest. Literally throw away the rest. You don't even eat the entire thing.
Hey guys, in today's episode, we have Mr. Mustache's Cakes. We're speaking to Khushbu and her father, Arun, who are a father-daughter duo who started this venture. We're super excited to talk to them about how they came up with the concept, what their cakes are like, and what the plan is moving forward. So thank you so much for joining our podcast today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we can get started with our first question just to get the conversation going about like whose idea was Mr. Mustache's Cakes. Just take us through how it all began.
So as you can all see, my dad is the one who has the mustache. So he's the one who's baking here, and normally in every kitchen or whatever you see mother's baking or mother's cooking. So here the dad is the one who's cooking and baking.
Oh.
So now because of him and his mustache, the name goes Mr. Mustache's Cakes.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So that's the story of how it all started. And
that was the story behind the brand's name. And how it started was he had been baking since 2-3 years. So that was just for general home occasions like anniversaries, birthdays, and his cakes were like pure authentic chocolate cakes, like which you don't get outside. Like outside there is so much, it's loaded with so much icing. It's not bearable to eat that much icing. It's too much sugar, too sweet.
For sure.
Like, you take one bite of it and then you throw away the rest. Literally throw away the rest. You don't even eat the entire thing. So with us, we kind of enjoyed eating that one single tea cake. And like we live with our grandparents. So so we keep all the health factors also in consideration while baking. So our cakes generally had less sugar or maybe no sugar sometimes. And it actually tasted nice. Like I myself have never tasted those kind of cakes before. So I thought, why not take this forward? Because cakes is something like everybody buys at every point of life. So like birthdays are coming in, occasions are happening. So there was no reason not to do it. I understand like it was like a very impromptu decision. I had no background in cooking or food industry. He has no background in food industry. But this opportunity just came along, and it's just the gut feeling that made us go ahead.
Wow, that's so cool. Uncle, आपको ये cake का fascination कहाँ से आया था? Was it do you usually cook in the kitchen and you just tried it, or like how did that happen?
Generally cooking इतना passionate नहीं था पहले में.
Okay.
तो मेरा business था technical. I'm from the technical background.
Okay.
तो Sunday मेरा holiday होता था. तो Sunday घर का काम करके जो afternoon का जो time होता था, क्योंकि मैं business में दिन में तो सोता नहीं था. तो कुछ ना कुछ novelty या कुछ करनी है. तो सामने माइक्रो होता था, कुकरी रेसिपीज की बुकलेट होती थी. टाइम पास करना था तो वही पैशन बन गया. फिर उससे फिर हम लोग बनाते गए, करते गए, और यही चीज था. और बेसिकली हम लोग जो बना रहे थे हेल्दी केक्स बनाते थे. और सबसे प्लस पॉइंट हमारे केक्स में क्या एगलेस केक्स हैं. और दूसरा हम लोग बना रहे टी केक्स, और फ्लफीनेस भी है उसमें. जो अगर बंदा सपोज खाए तो उसको प्रॉपर उसका टेस्ट आएगा केक का. ये चीज था. तो बस स्लोली और ग्रेजुअली अब फिर बर्थडे पार्टीज में हम लोगों ने बाहर से मंगाना बंद कर दिया. करने लग गए तो फिर आगे किसी को गिफ्ट करने लग गए तो उन्होंने अप्रिशिएट किया. तो फिर खुशबू को थोड़ा कॉन्फिडेंस आया कि वी कैन डू समथिंग बोथ टुगेदर, क्योंकि शी इज फ्रॉम द फैशन इंडस्ट्री, आई वाज फ्रॉम द टेक्निकल. तो आई एम अ सेल्फ टॉट बेकर, किसी से कहीं ट्रेनिंग नहीं ली. तो अपने आप बस वो चलता गया और अभी तक चल रहा है.
That's great. How long has it been since you guys started it as what it is now?
We started in October 2019, so almost 2 years now.
Okay, so you've kind of had the 2 years, this COVID lockdown situation to you know.
Weirdly for us, like the moment we began, like maybe Christmas season was going on, that still went fine. And then Valentine's Day was still okay. And then after that, it's just been locked down forever. So like whatever our experience has been of running a business, it's just been lockdown, COVID.
Yeah. But has that like helped it grow? Has that helped it kind of,
I mean,
go in a way you didn't expect?
Exposure I could have received, I am not, because of like, being at home all the time. I can't, I mean, you can network with people virtually, but not to an extent. So that has been one of the problems. Like, and another major thing is we don't have an outlet. It's a cloud kitchen. So whatever our earnings was, it used to come from exhibitions. So these days when we can't exhibit, the earnings have been less. However, one thing again, like I said, people don't stop ordering no matter whatever it is. People are still ordering, and like they're trusting homemade brands more. So I receive a lot of orders saying this only, ki this time we decided not to order from a big brand, but to order from a home kitchen. And one is that they want to help the small business thing grow. Another factor is the safety and everything that they're considering during the COVID time. So for us, lockdown has been all in good only. But yeah, now I know like I have been missing out on things. But other than that, it wasn't really of a problem.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, the whole angle of the father-daughter duo, what has that been like working with your dad on a business? And just talk about like any instances that may have happened or experiences that you guys have had doing this. Any fights that may have broken out or nothing like that? It's all peaceful all the time.
Many times the short circuit happens because if the things are going smooth, so you cannot get the taste of life. So there are up and downs comes,
right?
But with a good combination of the good chemistry between both of us, so we are successfully taking our brand much more ahead.
Yeah. No, that's good. And it's a good like bonding experience too. I'm sure you guys get to spend time together in other ways.
Things like he is learning how. So I feel my area where I lack is sometimes I am way too straightforward with the customers, which I can't be. So he's way too nice to customers. So that's what I learned from him. Like, how to make them feel at home, how to treat them nicely.
Balance each other out.
Right.
Yeah. He's learning social media from us, me and my sister. So how to keep his Instagram up and going, how to check out what other bloggers and bakers are doing.
Oh, awesome. I've seen on the Instagram handle, your uncle makes a great like appearance. There's like a thing over Christmas. He was Santa Dad.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. And you guys do a lot of reels and stuff. So is that usually like impromptu, or you plan it, or how do you go about like your digital presence and keeping both of your characters coming out on that as well?
So if I do tell him that we have a video plan, he would probably run away. So I just go tell him impromptu that you need to pose for good 10 seconds. And then he'll still make a face, but like then the camera is on, then he has no other option. So like for the reel we made recently where he had to introduce himself as a small business owner, I literally went up to him. Dad, can you pose? And then I taught him to do this, that, whatever. And
then this different text, right?
Yeah,
you did a great job. You were never known you were forced to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't look forced because like I didn't give him time to think about it. Yeah.
It's a lot of real content, which I think is really good, especially for a small business, right? Like it keeps people engaged and wanting to come back for more of that content. I mean, I would, so. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, right now, marketing is the only thing that we can focus on. So we're just trying to stay up to date with everything, be it Snapchat spotlights, be it Instagram reels, be it YouTube shorts. We're trying to be everywhere as much as we can during the lockdown time.
That's great. And, you guys have a website and people can place orders, but I want to know if somebody wants to like, kind of customize it or get a birthday cake done, like how would they do that? Do they just like email you or like, do they WhatsApp you and stuff like what's that process like?
So people usually prefer WhatsApping because that's more instant form of communication. And USP, which lies here, is the customization. So I hear a lot of customers complaining about this one thing, that other people, they offer, like, let's say if they have 5 cakes, they'll be like, pick one. But that's not the case with us. With us, we make orders on, we make cakes on order basis. So we ask them, how exactly do you want your cake to be? Do you want it to be less sugar, more sugar, less chocolate, more chocolate? So it entirely depends on the customer. So customization is the key here. And a lot of times customers send me photos, can we have a cake exactly like this? And then we talk to them, and then we figure out how to take it forward. Like yesterday we gave this order for this baby's first birthday, and a lot of donuts went, a lot of cupcakes went, a lot of huge cake went. So that all, like, the customer called me on first. So we spoke for 10 days about what the order would go on. So 10 days back and forth, what flowers would go on the cake, what color flowers would it be, how big the cake size would be. So yeah, a lot of customization.
I hope this 1-year-old remembers all the effort that was put into it.
Yeah,
I'm sure
I met her yesterday. Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet though. That sounds great.
Yeah. So, and like, I wanted to understand, right? Like, for the business aspect of it, I mean, is this something where you guys are currently operating out of Gurgaon? Would you want to move to other cities? And, what's your plan with that?
Yeah, so we have a team of interns right now, and these interns are all working remotely. So now the thing is, they start promoting it to their friends somewhere in Bangalore, somewhere in Mumbai, and they're all craving for our Mr. Mustache's cakes. And they're all texting me, can you please deliver in Bombay? And I'm like, I'm sorry, we can't. Because the thing is, we have tried to connect with delivery partners, but they've just completely refused because of previous orders that have happened with other brands. They're saying we just don't take cake orders because they get damaged and the name comes on the delivery partners.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, but we do want to go pan-India. We do deliver in Delhi, NCR for now. So Delhi, Gurgaon, Noida, Faridabad, we're covering all these sectors for now.
Yeah, I've seen you guys on Zomato. Are you on other?
Zomato, Swiggy, Magic Pin. Yeah.
What's that been like? Is it easy for you guys, using these platforms and stuff? I'm interested to know about that experience.
Zomato का experience.
Zomato का experience ठीक है, कुछ खास नहीं, क्योंकि अगर एक कस्टमाइज केक अगर बनाना है, if you have taken some order, वो टाइम फ्रेम नहीं देते. तो टाइम फ्रेम नहीं मिलने से थोड़ा पेनल्टी, फिर कई बार तो क्या करते हैं, ऑर्डर कैंसिल कर देते हैं. तो फिर डायरेक्टली फिर हमें कस्टमर से परस्यू करना पड़ता है. What you do, you call us directly. What we can do कि हम आपका जब केक तैयार कर देंगे, then you again order on the Zomato, then we can give you. तो ये चीज, लेकिन Zomato का प्रॉपर अगर वैसे अगर एक्सपीरियंस बोले तो इट्स बैड एक्सपीरियंस की का डिलीवरी का कोई, सपोज अगर उनके पास प्रॉपर जो पैकेजिंग बैग्स होते हैं, बैग्स ही नहीं. They got the bags as a, if you are carrying a laptop bag, or they sometimes what they put the cakes on the जो मोटरसाइकिल का जो पेट्रोल टैंक है उसके ऊपर रख दिया. तो फिर क्या होता है कि आप जब ड्राइव कर रहे हो, if the breaker or there is some bumpy road coming,
which is all over now.
What we do, we click the picture when we are delivering the cake to the customer, send to the customer. But when the cake is delivered to the customer, it's in the horrible state. तो तब उसको अपनी इमेज को बचाने ही खातिर, so we have to again give the cake and deliver myself to the customer.
I was gonna ask, after you go on your own then to deliver it, at least the quality will be good and intact if making the delivery. But then
how many orders, like, is it a high percentage of orders that you get through Zomato and Swiggy that that you have to be on them? Do you guys feel like you're dependent on these platforms? Or
like, if you would have asked me if there was no lockdown, I could have said no, I don't want to depend on Zomato. But considering the lockdown, I have to depend on Zomato, which is a very sad state.
Right.
And they do provide us with orders but because of my experience with Zomato now, I just see it as something that's just coming along. Earlier, I used to get very pissed off if my cakes would get damaged or something. Now I know there is no support from their end, so there is no use talking to anybody.
So best thing for your customers is to call you guys directly and order directly through you.
Google in that manner helps us a lot, because like when you type best bakery or something in Gurgaon, then our name pops up. So that helps us. And we usually get midnight orders. Like not a lot of bakeries are open at 12 a.m. So we get a lot of birthday cake orders at that time.
Birthday cake orders, and I'm sure other type of orders as well. People awake late at night ordering.
No, not really. It ends at 12 a.m. only.
Okay, nice. So that's so cool. So if you type best bakery, you guys are coming up. Is that something that you made an active effort towards, like to make sure that your presence is popping up? Is SEO and I'm sure these terms are popping up. Is this something that you're exploring, and what's your experience been with that?
So when we first made our website, I don't know how Google gifted us this, or I don't know how it just happened. We were everywhere. Like whenever you type best bakery in Gurgaon, top bakery in Gurgaon, we were on top everywhere. And
your website or like your Instagram page, what was popping up?
Website.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then we were 515 rating as well at that time. And I just couldn't figure out what was happening. We were getting orders again, like from everywhere. And then I think when you make a new website, that's what Google does. And now that slowly now we're old, now we're not coming on top. Now
we're old.
Conscious effort to select keywords, put in SEO. Yes, SEO helps a lot, definitely. But the knowledge of SEO is the main thing. Like a lot of people think SEO is just like whatever, you figure out good 10 keywords and then just put it wherever. No, it has to fit in perfectly to get good results.
You use your blogs, right? As a way to... Sorry.
Yeah, he has to leave.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Uncle.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. No, of course. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
He has to go back to some baking.
Yeah. So, yeah.
It's back at the games.
He's like, you guys.
Yeah, attending and receiving the orders. I still have online work going on.
So he's like, you guys chat, I gotta get to work.
Yeah. And he's anyway very camera conscious. So he's like, he avoids video calls to the maximum.
He was really good and natural. I think it was like a good engaging.
Yeah, that's what, whenever he's attending all these interviews, I don't know, he's just like so good at it, better than I am. And then otherwise he's like, no, I won't come on before the camera or whatever.
He's modest. He knows that he's a natural.
So how did you guys get to know about us?
So I think somebody tagged you, or maybe somebody mentioned you in a Facebook post that I posted looking for a video editor.
Okay. Yeah, I remember. Okay, all right.
Right. And then I don't know, I think we got to talking on Facebook Messenger, and then I checked it out and I really liked it when you sent me the page and stuff. So I thought for sure we should have you guys on.
And I love dessert of all kinds. So I knew this would be a fun conversation. So
Right. I think 2 nights ago only we had a similar thing. Someone was recording a podcast and it went on for good 1 hour, and then we were just chatting about everything from gender to how daughters are treated by their family, how business is run, everything.
Oh wow, that is we can do that also.
Yeah, we can.
No limits, it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So no, I mean, I'm interested to know about this SEO presence, right? Because as a marketing agency, people pay us a lot of money to make sure that they're ranking on Google. And it seems like you launched your website and you suddenly had all these traffic and orders coming in. Do you, like, how many days after your website did that happen? And like, did you ever figure out like what exactly happened there?
I have been searching till date what happened. And that's why I said it probably like Google gifted us this, because I can't figure out any other reason. And I think after 1 month of our website being up, 15 days, 1 month, something like that. Nice. And since then we've been working on SEO. Like I said, SEO, you can't be short about anything. You just have to keep on trying, hit and trial, and something would work at some time. Sure. So even we also change our keywords sometimes. Sometimes we keep it for like a month. Sometimes we change it after 2 months. So yeah, it depends on how the website is performing.
Nice. And you're posting like a lot of written content as well. I'm sure that's also kind of helping with the rankings and stuff like that.
Yeah, blogs we just started recently. We try to use as much as keywords we can add, and we try to talk about prevalent conditions. So like we have spoken about how we're managing this crisis situation, and like my dad, like he stocked up on every ingredient because like Maharashtra already had the lockdown, so there was news surfacing that Delhi might also be under lockdown. So he started like collecting everything, and I also started mentally preparing. Okay, like no more exhibitions from now on, so we got to come back to online marketing. So yeah, we kept and plus we're heavy on online marketing anyway. So we came back to square one. Like when the lockdown opened up, then yes, like I remember for Diwali, we were 10 days out there at the exhibition stall. Every day I would go there and I would sell. So, yeah. But again, I miss doing all of that. I miss connecting with people on one-on-one basis. I can't do that anymore.
Yeah. Where were these exhibitions? Just
so
like
it's in our sector only. Yeah. And like different melas as well. And we did one of them recently at some new mall opened in Gurgaon in Sector 51. So we had it there as well.
That's awesome. And then you guys are also like at like different cafes and stuff too, right? I don't know, before or now as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So these cafes keep our products. So whatever products that have a longer shelf life, those products are kept at their display board, and then people can check out or buy it from there.
Khushbu, I want to know, like, what, as your dad briefly mentioned that you were in fashion or something like that before. How did you what were you doing and how did you decide to do this like full time or whatever?
Right. So,
whatever.
So the story is I had been into fashion since a long time, and I had, so my course was a 4-year course. And while I was doing this course, in the first year only, LimeRoad.com came to our college to hire students for their job or internship, something, but it was for only third year students and fourth year students. I randomly walked in and I sat for the interview, and somehow I got selected. So it just worked. And then I went for my first internship in my first year only, in my first semester only. So yeah, and then I loved the concept of interning. I could learn and gain practical experience while I was going to college in the morning, and then evenings I would go to LimeRoad to work. So I was like, okay, this is good, and this is the right kind of combination which I want. So I started interning at a lot of places at once, and I would stay awake till like 4 a.m. and go to college at 9 a.m. And then I gained a lot of experience.
Best intern.
Yeah. I mean, at that, I was probably hustling more at that time. Now I'm just sitting at home. Yeah. And then after that, I worked at a lot of places as well. I worked at Harper's Bazaar, India. And there I did styling internship. And India Today was also a great experience that added to, so there I saw how is a formal structure run, what is office politics, or how to handle 150 employees at once. And then the final approach came in when I was told to handle a magazine. So I was a manager at a magazine called Sonora. It was a women-led magazine. And there I handled everything by myself. So there I learned how to probably run a business by yourself. And then I decided, okay, like no more jobs, no more internships. Now I want to run my own startup. So I started working on my startup, and which was a fashion startup, and I had been working on it side by side. And this one random day, I just sent out a text to all my friends. Hi guys, like my dad is making cakes and brownies now. If you guys are interested, you can let us know. So one of my friend who was working for Amula Bachchan, she replied, hi, we have a exhibition in 2 days and we need someone for a dessert partner. Would you be up for it? I'm like, okay, what do you require? And this just happened right at that time when I sent the message. She said 65 brownies. And I was like, okay, in how much time? She said 2 days. And I was like, okay, let me try. And then literally from that call onwards till the time we delivered, the entire family got down to making brownies. Yeah.
Got everyone in the kitchen.
Grandparents and all, everybody was making brownies.
Someone was wrapping the brownies, someone was adding the ribbon to it, someone was cutting the slices, everybody was on it. Our even like neighbors and all came in to help us out with it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just like a fun thing. Everybody was excited to do it. And since then, we've been exhibiting. So then Ramola Bachchan's Houseful exhibition happened. And there I realized people loved our cakes. So I was like, okay, why not take it forward?
And your startup you kind of put on the back burner? Is that something
so
you think you want to get back to?
that was called The Ornate. It was basically luxury at an affordable rate, and I would be sourcing the pieces from other designers, and I would be selling it further by adding my touch to it. So a little ornamentation. So that startup, I mean, I can't handle 2 startups at one time. So I just want to get this one up and running, and then I might go back to that one.
Nice.
That's awesome.
I think for you guys, like, I'm sure the cakes are great, and I'm definitely going to order them after we're done with the podcast. But I think it's like the story that you've cultivated as well, and like the branding that you have behind it. Do you think your previous experience working in fashion and the organizations kind of helped you with that? Was that something you really thought about, or was it just kind of happened as you went along?
I mean, if you're Ambani, then only you can run all of this by your natural talent. You have to learn how to do all of this. Without learning, you're going nowhere. Like, I think myself also, I made this wrong decision. Like, I just went on with the business with no plan, nothing. And that's what I have been working on lately, making the plans and all, how to go ahead. And I do know and feel that I need to develop some skills to do this particular task. So I keep on learning every single day. I am doing myself online courses every single day to learn things that I couldn't do. Like I haven't done MBA, so I don't know how to do all of that. So this is all my practical experience that I've been gaining.
You're doing an MBA ×2 by doing what you're doing right now.
Exactly. But then again, there are so many things that I think I could have done if I did MBA, but that's fine. Like I want the real time exposure over that. And of course, like if I wouldn't have done those internships or jobs, I wouldn't be here. Like when I hire interns for my business, I see a lot of them coming with no knowledge at all, being 26, 27 sometimes. So it just saddens me how they could have learned so much over that time. And I just hate how people are wasting time over Netflix.
You're hiring interns who are 26, 27 and have no experience.
Sometimes this happens, like these people who like sometimes they take gap years, or like life makes them
gap years, not gap year.
I get it. But like I don't know, I'm no one to comment on that. They just apply for it.
Okay,
hard to know what people have gone through and either maybe they weren't working before. But I mean, now they can.
So my younger sister, she's 19 now, and she's already done 3-4 internships herself. So
you guys are like big on internships. It's great. That's awesome.
I mean, that's the only place you can gain experience from these days.
For sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
Internships, but they're not as easy to find. I mean, I guess you were successful with finding a lot of good ones, and so is your sister, and then people like you who are accepting and hiring people with no experience. So I mean, they obviously have some experience, and you just kind of like, I guess, help them gain the knowledge that you are familiar with, right?
Yeah, when we keep baking interns as well, so like if they know the basic knowledge of how to bake, that's fine, and then along the way we keep on teaching them other stuff.
So what exactly is a baking intern? Sorry, Himanshu, but
So baking intern would someone be who would handle the orders with us and like packing them, making them, or maybe, garnishing of the cake and all. And sometimes when there are a lot of orders, helping that out. Because like single-handedly handling orders all day long, it's very difficult.
So they come into your house and they chill, like they like work in the kitchen with you. Okay.
We have we don't have the bakery here. It's upstairs. There's a separate room, and that's completely turned into a cloud kitchen now.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And then eventually, do you see yourselves like getting like a commercial setup? Is that like kind of the next objective? And because I know there's companies which kind of rent out cloud kitchens, I think, right?
Yeah. I was actually talking to one person before this call about the same thing, and they had this setup in Vasant Kunj. So I personally want to go to South Delhi because a lot of network that I have is based in that area. So
Okay.
I do deliver it there right now as well, but having a cloud kitchen there would actually be nice. So
Yeah.
currently I would want to expand using cloud kitchens as well. And I have been asked this question a lot of times, like, do you want to open a bakery or maybe not? It's just too very, like, considering these time, like this situation, I can't answer that right now. If I would have had a bakery right now, I would be under so much rent pressure and everything. So I think cloud kitchen was a good idea. And cloud kitchen was, anyway, since the starting, I thought, let's say, even if this fails, cloud kitchen would not incur a lot of losses for me.
No, for sure. Is this like, are you guys kind of funding this operation yourselves right now? It's
in. So whatever money I had saved in.
Speaking from the back. I loved it. You can invite, is that your dad? You can invite him back to join us?
That was my sister.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I didn't see you. It was for a split second. Okay.
So my dad wouldn't come and peek.
Your sister's the curious one.
Yeah, no, she also helps us a lot for the business. Like sometimes I'm tired standing at the exhibition all day long. Sometimes she becomes my substitute. Sometimes she's coming up to me with new reels. Why don't you try posting this? Sometimes she points out an error. Oh, your team did this thing wrong on the social media. I'm like, okay, we'll get this corrected.
The biggest critic. That's you need one of those.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Sorry, I went off topic.
Yeah, like, I mean, just about how you guys sort of funded it and stuff like that, and did you bootstrap it?
Yeah, bootstrap, and whatever money I had from my previous job, I put it into like initially when we had a lot of exhibitions. So when we started, that was the Christmas time, like October, November, December. So that time we have exhibitions back to back, and to be at the exhibitions, you have to pay a certain amount. So all the money that I had saved at that time, I put in all to become a part. And then whatever money we earned at that time, we put it into making the next batch of the cakes. And that's been going on since forever. And that's what I'm saying. Like if I had, there was no lockdown, obviously I could have had more money and expanded. But I'm kind of stuck right now.
Were you like, I mean, you know, you said that you just invested or whatever, used the money in the exhibitions, and you're saying you used all the money that you had. What was that decision-making process like? How long did you think about it? And you're working with your dad, but did you consult him before doing that? Was the family okay with you doing that? And
I mean, see, since
risky
they knew
maneuver
that,
for sure.
Yeah, they knew I've been doing a lot of internships, I've been doing a lot of jobs, so they could understand like I'm capable of taking decisions now. So they trusted me with this decision, and there was so there was no talk about it. It was the need of the hour, and they knew like this is when we need this money to go here. So other than that, buying all the equipments and raw material did not cost that much. Packaging we still have to invest in. That's where I am waiting for my money to come in. And other than that, I feel like a lot of home businesses and all, they're all starting up. So sometimes I feel customers compare like a homemade cake to a cake from, an expensive bakery.
Sure.
But sometimes I feel a lot of customers understand as well. Like, let's say if your presentation is not on mark and if your packaging is not on mark, people don't complain about all of that. Some people have been very understanding, and some people they're just like comparing you with everybody all the time.
But I mean, if you're go ahead.
A lot of small businesses have been getting a lot of support from people like nowadays.
I think even during lockdown, there was like that sticker on Instagram about supporting small businesses and like, the shout out to them. And if you do order in from their business, and you can always like, feature them and stuff. So that was definitely a trend going on at a particular time. So I was gonna ask.
So for my dad also, so we started with tea cakes, and not a lot of people know what a tea cake is. So this is a struggle with what I have to face every single time. Like whenever someone asks me what all cakes do you have, I tell them tea cake. They're like, oh, what is it? And sometimes they're like, oh, just a sponge cake. I'm like, no, that's not a sponge cake. So I have to tell them from the beginning what a tea cake is. And if they're okay with the concept, great. If not, then they'll go for the icing cake. But majorly, we want to promote healthy cakes only, because not a lot of people are doing tea cakes at the moment. And other than that, also it's a healthier option. So if you ask me what is the vision of the company, it's this only to bridge the gap between healthy desserts and midnight cravings. Like this is the only option. You eat the tea cake, your sweet factor is also satisfied, and you're still healthy at the same time.
Yeah, that's nice. It's a nice intersection between having that guilty pleasure, but then also like, you know, making sure it's still in your balanced diet or calorie count, however you're going about that. Yeah.
Do you like
go on?
So I was just gonna ask, like, have you down the road, would you consider like tying up with other homemakers to have it under your sort of brand? Is that an approach you want to take? Is like having one single, for example, these healthy cakes, like having that as the main product, or would you consider expanding into other verticals? And I mean, how does it really work with like cakes and desserts and stuff?
We have already expanded. I honestly don't want to go into those big designer cakes because like then it'll be contradicting my own thing. How I want to focus on healthy things, and then I'm putting a lot of sugar into one icing cake. I don't want to do that. So how we have expanded otherwise is we do sell birthday cakes now, but they are just like only very less icing is added to it. Like it's not loaded with a lot of sugar, not loaded with a lot of icing. Like the other day, someone else sent us cake and it was this big, and I cut the cake. The cake was actually this much, and this much was just the icing. And I was so sad. I'm like, this is what people love, and this is what they eat. This is what they crave for. Like where they can easily go for like healthier options, and you know.
Yeah, I think for like things like birthday cakes and stuff like that, it's like it's more of that, you know, entertainment value or whatever it is at that time, you know, that enjoyment that you're getting.
Yeah. But then again, you end up distributing it in like 10 people. Like here a tea cake, it gets over in like 5 minutes. Like my mama eats, my sister eats, I eat, and then it's finished. Like, you know, that's what I love about cakes. Like, yeah. And plus the authentic taste. When you eat that this much icing cake, you can't actually taste the cake of the cake. Like it's just the icing that you taste.
Yeah.
So like with us, we have flavors like banana, coconut, dates cake. Here you can actually taste the date flavor.
And you're actually enjoying it for what it is rather than just like looking for it and digging into the icing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because I know a lot of times in these birthday cakes, I have like a bite just out of, you know, the person's birthday. So it's celebratory like a thing. But 90% of the time, exactly what you're saying, there's just way too much icing, and then you just feel kind of like sick.
Loaded.
But no, that's great. I really want to try all these, especially the banana tea cake sounds yum.
Yeah.
Banana and carrot cake is yummy. Do you like also give suggestions on like what you can pair with these things? Like I know the first thing you said when you said tea cake, I thought ice cream, because I feel like the I don't know people, but I like to have like a cake with a scoop of ice cream or something like that. But like, I don't know if that's something that you consider.
Yeah, I tried this yesterday. So we made coffee walnut cake and I had it with vanilla ice cream to check how it tastes like. It was actually yum. I finished the entire thing. So now I just can't have cakes anymore. Like I think for this time, my quota of cakes, it's over. Like I eat cakes on a daily basis. So yesterday I had to try that out just to, you know, for customer's sake. And it was a nice combination. So vanilla ice cream is that one ice cream which goes with every single cake, I think.
Yeah.
That plus we have s'mores as well. We have marshmallows, and we don't sell normal marshmallows. We sell like chocolate dip marshmallow. So you can have 3 different coating: dark chocolate, milk chocolate, and then white chocolate. And we have donuts in the similar manner. And coming for combinations, so we have a signature chocolate called mustache chocolate. So a lot of people like ordering that as well, and they like to pose with it because like it's a mustache and there's a stick attached to it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very Instagrammable. So
yeah, exactly.
That probably helps. Is it like a secret recipe that makes it special, or just generally?
No, it's just like a signature thing.
A mustache.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Who came up with that?
It was just the mold, I think. So we got the
Okay.
mold and then we just went ahead with it.
Nice.
You can tell people it's the exact shape of your dad's mustache.
Yeah, I can.
No.
That's a good idea. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like when we were starting out, no thoughts were put into it. We just went with our gut feeling. Let's do this, let's do
Hmm.
that. And honestly, I think that worked way better than all this time where I put a lot of time into planning, plotting. Yes, it's needed to an extent, but
Yeah.
gut feeling is something you should always go for.
Yeah. And then you
No,
can always
definitely. I
adapt
think
and see.
that's so important, right? Like I think a lot of people, when you say something like build a marketing plan or figure out a strategy, the creative aspect of that is not something you can
Yeah.
spend time on it, but it's also things that you need to try and see if it works,
Yeah.
right? And at the end of the day, if your target audience is responding. So I think that approach like really paid off for you guys. And although you do have to add that angle of like some strategy long term, and for example,
Yeah.
like you're doing with SEO, looking at specific keywords, trying that out,
Yeah.
that like, the vibe that you want to give off to your customer is something that you can't really control or dictate.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah. No, but it sounds like a great like company, and it's growing, and you guys like welcome interns. And I know, because I spent a decent amount on your Instagram page, and I was having such a fun time. And you also like talk about like I think about the ladies behind MMC, and were those your interns, or
Yeah, they were the
also your
interns
family?
plus
Okay.
yeah, family members. Like my cousin, she's a foodie. She's like, whenever you do exhibitions, call me. I will be there. I will come to eat and I will come to sell. So there are a lot of friends like that as well. They come to support us at the exhibition because like handling a lot of people at the same time also gets a little hectic for us. So friends come to support us, family comes to support us. So yeah, a lot of people have supported us all along the way, maybe sharing our posts. And ladies behind MMC, those are mostly interns and family members and friends.
Oh yeah, no, I liked that. It was a nice way of saying, like, especially because you kept around the Women's Day, so it was like also a social media kind of day that everyone was, talking about. So
right,
it was a nice way to bring it together. Yeah, but I'm excited to try one day.
Yeah, if you guys are based out of Delhi, NCR, you should try it out definitely.
Yeah, I mean we're in Gurgaon. Parth is in Delhi, but
okay. Yeah, we didn't do it in Delhi. That's also not a problem.
Yeah, because he was saying now he wants cake, so Parth, you should order.
I think you'll be getting 3 orders right after this podcast.
Yeah,
from the
yeah.
3 of us.
Yeah, I already have for Father's Day orders. Also, we're collaborating with a lot of mom influencers who have just recently become like parents. So we're sending giveaways to them as well. So yeah, we can send some stuff to you guys as well.
Oh,
that'd be awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So how is this mom influencer thing happening? What's that all about?
So we're giving them, I don't know when is this going to get posted, but we're giving them hampers and which they can surprise their husbands with. And yeah.
Now
so
we have to post it after Father's Day.
I mean, you can, that's okay. Yeah. So yeah, we have a hamper which says, which has a cake, which says, I love that. And then we have mustache chocolate muffins, and we have mustache chocolate separately as well.
Oh, nice. That sounds like a healthy sugar package with dessert. No, it sounds good. That's a nice idea as well.
Awesome. Khushbu, I think we're good to wrap up, and thank you so much. And please tell your dad also, thank him from our side for joining. It was great to speak to him as well.
Thank you so much for hosting us. It was a pleasure. I love connecting and talking to you guys.
Yeah, likewise.
It was great.
It's been good. It's been interesting as well to hear from, a small business, especially